12 years. 12 long, grueling years we spent hunting one man across 14 star systems, through asteroid fields, forgotten colonies, and the rotting husks of abandoned stations. And you know what? We thought we were so damn clever. My name is Krell, commander of the Vraxian Pursuit Fleet, and I'm going to tell you about the biggest mistake our species ever made. The kind of mistake that doesn't just cost you a war. It costs you your pride, your sanity, and occasionally your limbs. It started in the Outer Rim territories, right after the Treaty of Ganymede collapsed like a house of cards in a hurricane. The humans, bless their stubborn little hearts, decided they weren't going to play by our rules anymore. Most of them surrendered when we showed up with our dreadnoughts. Smart move, really, but not all of them. There was this one soldier, Marcus Hale, a veteran from Earth's Colonial Defense Force. Nothing special on paper, just another grunt who'd served his 20 years and retired to some backwater mining colony called New Perth. Middle-aged, graying hair, probably had a garden and everything. The intelligence reports made him sound about as dangerous as a sleeping herbivore. Here's where it gets funny. And by funny, I mean the kind of funny that makes you want to punch through a bulkhead. We tag him during our initial sweep. Standard procedure. Round up anyone with military experience, process them, relocate them to containment facilities. Easy, right? Except Marcus Hale didn't feel like being rounded up. He killed 3 of my best troops with nothing but a mining torch and what I can only assume was sheer spite. Then he vanished. Now, you have to understand something about Vraxians. We're hunters by nature. Our ancestors tracked prey across ice plains for weeks without rest. We have sensors that can detect a heartbeat from 3 kilometers away. We can see in 17 different spectrums. We're basically the universe's most overqualified exterminators. So when one human veteran embarrassed us by slipping through our fingers, well, that became personal. Lieutenant Vex, my second in command, thought it would take maybe a week. He was an optimist, that one. Used to be, anyway. After year 3 of chasing Hale's ghost across the galaxy, Vex developed this delightful nervous tic, as I would twitch every time someone said the name Marcus. It was adorable in a tragic sort of way. The thing about Hale was that he didn't run like prey. Prey panics. Prey makes mistakes. Hale, he moved like smoke, like he was playing a game, only he understood the rules too. We'd get a lead, follow it to some remote station, and find nothing but empty corridors and sometimes, if we were really lucky, a little surprise he'd left behind. On Titan 7, he rigged the entire western docking bay to explosively decompress. Cost us 17 soldiers and 2 assault ships. On the mining colony of Persef, he contaminated our water supplies with a fungal agent that had us hallucinating for 3 days straight. I personally watched Commander Threx try to negotiate a surrender with a mop. Not our finest moment. But here's what really twisted the blade. Every time we got close, every time we thought we had him cornered, he'd leave a message. Sometimes it was scrawled on a wall. Sometimes it was a voice recording. Once, and I'm still impressed by this, he hacked our main communication array and broadcast it across the entire fleet. The messages were always the same basic idea, delivered with what I can only describe as infuriating human sass. Things like, better luck next time, boys, or you're getting warmer, or my personal favorite, have you considered that maybe I'm hunting you? That last one kept me up at night. See, we thought we were the apex predators. We'd conquered 47 worlds. We had technology that could crack planets. We were the monsters that made other species check under their beds. But somewhere along the line, while we were busy congratulating ourselves, the roles reversed, and we didn't even notice. By year 7, High Command was getting impatient. They wanted results. They wanted Hale in chains or Hale in pieces. They weren't picky. They sent us reinforcements, better ships, experimental weapons. We had a fleet of 30 vessels dedicated to catching one man. Think about that. 30 warships, thousands of soldiers, enough firepower to level a continent. All for one human who should have been retired and harmless. Vex asked me once why we didn't just give up, cut our losses, declare him dead, and move on. I told him it was about principle, about showing the galaxy that nobody escapes Vraxian justice. But honestly, I think we were terrified. Terrified of what it meant that one human could do this to us. Terrified of what would happen if other humans figured out his tricks. Terrified that maybe, just maybe, we'd underestimated them from the very beginning. And then, in year 12, we finally caught him. Or rather, let's catch him. The trap was almost embarrassing in its simplicity. We received intelligence that Hale was hiding on Orath Station, a derelict refueling hub on the edge of the Kepler zone. The kind of place where the life support systems wheeze like a dying animal and the gravity fluctuates randomly. Perfect hiding spot, really. We checked it twice before, found nothing. This time, our sensors picked up a human biosignature clear as day. No attempt to hide. No jamming. Just sitting there in the central hub, like he was waiting for a shuttle. Vexi started twitching immediately. It's a trap, Commander. Obviously, I said, checking my weapon for the 100th time. But we're going anyway. Because here's the thing about 12 years of chasing ghosts. Eventually, you stop caring about traps. You just wanted to end. We breached the station with 40 troops, full combat gear, enough firepower to fight a small war. The corridors were dark except for emergency lighting that flickered like a dying star. Our boots echoed on metal floors. Every shadow could have been him. Every sound could have been the last thing we heard. And there he was, sitting in the command center, feet up on a console, looking for all the world like he was on vacation. Marcus Hale didn't look like a monster. He looked tired, gray stubble, lines around his eyes, wearing a patched environment suit that had seen better decades. He smiled when he saw us. Actually smiled. "Took you long enough," he said, his voice rough from years of talking to nobody. "I was starting to think you'd given up." Vex aimed his rifle at Hale's chest. "You're surrounded. Surrender, and we'll make this quick." Hale laughed. Not a nervous laugh. A genuine, from-the-belly laugh that made my scales itch. "Quick? Vex, buddy, you haven't made anything quick in 12 years. Why start now?" "What do you know my name?" Vex's voice cracked slightly. "I know all your names. Krell, Vex, Threx, poor Zara who I accidentally spaced on Titan 7. Sorry about that, by the way. Nothing personal." Hale stood up slowly, hands visible. "No weapons. I've been studying you. Learning. You're predictable. You know that? Always the same formations, same tactics, same arrogant assumption that you're the smartest beings in the room." I stepped forward, keeping my weapon trained on him. "You killed hundreds of our soldiers. Destroyed millions in equipment. Why?" The war was over. Hale's smile faded. His eyes went cold. And for the first time in 12 years, I understood why we should have been afraid all along. "The war wasn't over for me," he said quietly. "You came to New Perth. Remember that? Probably not. Just another colony to you. But you rounded up everyone. Old, young, didn't matter. My daughter was teaching at the school. 26 years old. Wanted to help children learn about Earth, about where we came from. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Your troops decided she was a security risk. Military family and all. She argued. They shot her. Hale's voice never rose, never wavered. Somehow that made it worse. So no, Commander Krell. The war wasn't over. It was just beginning." Vex's rifle trembled. "You did all this for revenge? One human against an empire? Not revenge," Hale corrected. "Education." That's when I noticed the charges. Dozens of them, placed around the command center with surgical precision. How long had they been there? How long had we been standing in a death trap? Hale saw my expression change. "There it is. The moment you realize you're not the hunter anymore. You never were. I've been teaching you a lesson for 12 years, and you still don't get it." "What lesson?" I demanded, my voice sounding hollow, even to myself. "The humans don't give up. We don't surrender. We adapt. We learn. We survive." He reached slowly into his pocket. Every weapon in the room tracked his movement. He pulled out a small detonator. "And most importantly, we remember. You'll die too," Vex said. "Yeah," Hale agreed. "But here's the beautiful part. It doesn't matter. Because somewhere out there are thousands more like me. Millions, probably. Veterans who lost everything. Who watched you march through their homes. And every single one of them has been watching what I've done. Learning. Adapting." He pressed a button on the detonator. Nothing exploded. Instead, every screen in the command center flickered to life, showing our pursuit over 12 years. Every mistake, every failed ambush, every embarrassment, and it was broadcasting across Vraxian space on every frequency. You hunted me because you thought I was dangerous, Hale said. But I was never the weapon. I was the teacher, and class is now in session. That's when the screens changed, showing attacks. Vraxian facilities across the frontier, all going dark simultaneously. Coordinated, precise, devastating. The other humans had been learning. Hale smiled again, but it wasn't cruel. It was sad. You could have left us alone, could have accepted the treaty, could have moved on, but you had to push, had to prove you were superior. I understood then. Finally, horribly, you let us chase you. I whispered. For 12 years, he confirmed. While you wasted resources, attention, and pride on one old man, my people prepared. So thank you, Commander. You've been an excellent distraction. The station shuddered. Real explosions this time, far away but getting closer. Hale tossed the detonator aside. Escape pods are that way. You got maybe 5 minutes. I'd run if I were you. We ran. We left him there, standing in that command center, and we ran like the prey we'd always secretly been. They never found his body in the wreckage. Part of me thinks he made it out. Part of me hopes he did, because the galaxy needed to remember Marcus Hale, the human who taught an empire to fear. If this story entertained or taught you something, please like and subscribe to our channel. It really helps us grow and bring you more stories like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next story.